Hello everybody and welcome back to Grand Bazaar. It's the first day of winter today. I cannot believe that it has been almost a full year in this game already. Time is just absolutely flying. And winter is definitely going to be the slowest of the seasons. We actually do have a fair number of festivals, which is sort of a nice thing to look forward to, alongside our bazaar days, of course. And in our first week, we actually have a couple of events as well. We're going to be getting a new item from Felix, and a new villager is going to move in, which is pretty exciting, seeing as how we haven't really met anybody new for a substantial amount of time. So depending on how much I have to talk about, I might be able to show some of those things off, and if not, I'll just save them for another video. So in the wintertime, you can still put your animals outside, even in the snow. Let them get some fresh air. So don't be afraid to let them outdoors. I will probably just keep my chickens inside, mostly because I'm just lazy. It's not really all that time consuming, but sometimes I just really don't feel like pushing all of the animals out. I do have the bell now, which does make it a little bit easier for me to round up the barn animals once they're all outside. And I'm hoping to buy a cat soon, and when we get ourselves a cat, that will help us care for our chickens. And that will get the chickens outside more as well. So we don't have anything to grow in the wintertime. That's going to be one of the biggest disadvantages and one of the biggest changes. And animal care will kind of keep you going. It'll allow you to still have a little bit of a routine and get a little bit of income off of animal goods, because there is absolutely nothing that grows in the wintertime at all. So you get a big break from any kind of crop care. And if you have trees planted, or if you have a tea seed planted like I do here, it will lie dormant. Completely safe, nothing is going to happen to it, it doesn't get destroyed in the wintertime, it simply goes dormant. And you don't have to worry about fertilizing in the wintertime either. So you can leave all of those trees that you have alone and just let them hang out until the weather gets warmer again. We do have an upgrade available at the bazaar at some point, where we will be able to grow crops inside of our house. And that's the best opportunity that you're going to have to grow things, if that is something that you want to do, if that's something that appeals to you. And I'm not too worried about that upgrade, but I will most likely show that off before the end of winter, just so that everybody can see what that looks like. So the days spent on the farm are going to be significantly shorter. We're going to be depending mostly on our animal products, but there is also a few things around that we can forage. The first thing are these snowballs, and if you throw them on the ground, you may or may not get a random item from them. We can also still get lavender in this season as well. So I'm probably going to be stockpiling my lavender so that I can use it to make more herb salad when I have access to some of the other herbs. Of course, we still have rocks, we still have branches. There also seems to be a huge uptick in the amount of shiny spots on the map. Not that it was really all that rare before, but in the wintertime, the game really seems to litter you with shiny spots. And you might also find ore stone laying around more often. That is probably one of the biggest advantages of winter, is that it seems a lot easier to get some ore stone. And this increases your chances of getting some ore and some jewels, and if you get the right combination of stuff, you may have the opportunity to make some jewelry and get some additional income. All of our bodies of water are all frozen over, and this actually gives us access to a few spots that you can only get to in the wintertime. So if you follow the river nearest to your house upstream, there's this little pocket of land here, and there's nothing for us today, but every once in a while you come up here and there are some items. So I definitely recommend checking up here. I'm gonna go ahead and spin my windmill blades. We will continue to make seeds. That is going to be our biggest source of income, of course. Just so that we're not completely broke throughout the wintertime, we do still want to make money, especially because winter is a really nice sort of free-for-all season. You can just spend your money how you like. It's kind of a nice laid-back season in that regard. It's a good time to sort of play catch-up. If there's anything that you've been wanting to save up for, or anything that you haven't been able to afford. And I'm still kind of planning what it is that I want to buy at our bazaars. There is one more secret spot as well. So I'm just making my way around the town now. And nothing else has really changed all that much. Now the second area that may or may not have some items is this area beside Angelo's house. There's actually two little spots of land. There's this neat little area with a really beautiful big tree, and then there's this little bank here. So those are just two little spots that you can check for some additional goodies. Never hurts to check, because you just never know. And you will find the days in wintertime will go by a lot faster, just due to the fact that there's not as much to do. But it's not completely hopeless. There is still enough to do, I think, that you'll keep yourself somewhat busy, or at least I try to. Despite the fact that the river is frozen over, it doesn't mean that you can't still use it. If you use your hammer in the cracked spots near the dock, you can see that there are lots and lots of fish that are swimming underneath the water's surface. So you can get a lot of fishing done in this season. And this is probably the best season for me to do some fishing and to fill out my fishing section of my assets menu. And if I manage to get myself some copper ore, I will also probably upgrade my fishing rod a little bit, which is completely optional, but it increases the quality of the fish that you're catching, which will of course make it all sell for more money. Winter's also a really great season to upgrade your tools if that's something that you haven't been doing or that you'd like to do more of, because you will not need your hoe or your watering can unless you are able to grow crops inside your house. So there's less concern about timing your upgrades so that you could use your watering can and your hoe. Apparently my bag is full. I'm definitely gonna have to buy some more storage space at the bazaar. I kind of wish you could buy bag space too, but I guess they just kind of give you one or the other. And you can see it's almost 4 o'clock, so it's not like we haven't passed quite a bit of time, really. I haven't even really talked to all of the villagers. I haven't visited any stores. And the wonderful thing about fishing too is that it doesn't really eat up a lot of your stamina. So you can realistically do a lot of fishing and not even really break a sweat or have to worry too much about your stamina, which is really, really nice. Because as a last resort, if you're just looking for something to do to pass the time, you can dive in the water, which would be so cold, and I'm really surprised that our farmer doesn't have hypothermia. But you can do this multiple times a day if you time it right. And this is another good opportunity to find gold ore, tea cans, anything else that you might be able to sell or use. Gold will really come in handy if you don't have any of it, because you might get the opportunity to make some jewelry if you get decent stuff from your ore stones. If I had started earlier in the day, I probably could have done this 2 or 3 times. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll just throw myself in the water over and over and over again, rest up, and rinse and repeat. So I try to kind of switch it up a little bit. Maybe use my stamina to dive into the river one day, fish the next day. You do have to be careful with fishing just because you have to have the inventory space to be able to hold all your fish, especially if you're catching different fish at different qualities. But that is another way that you can make money, of course. So not all hope is lost for winter being just this total write-off with absolutely nothing to do. There's still some things to do, but I really do wish that there were things that they let you grow in the winter time, even if they just gave you one crop, or they let you grow grass or fodder. I just think anything would be better than nothing, really. And I think both my bag and my storage is full, but you know what? I don't need this empty can, so I'm gonna toss that. You can see that I still have some ores here to upgrade my tools, so in due time I will be doing that. I've got tons of seeds. I also have quite a few crops that I need to get through and to continue making those into seeds. So I've got lots of yellow peppers left, yams, and I haven't decided what I'm doing with my eggplant yet, but I do still have those as well. And the snowballs don't melt. It's not like if you put them inside your storage, they'll just poof, disappear. So you can do whatever you want with these. You could stockpile them and then try to throw them all at once. keep them in your bag, keep them in your storage, whatever it is that you want to do. Just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and throw a bunch of these and see what happens. More often than not, you're going to get nothing, but you have the ability to get ore stones. You can also get flowers from all the different seasons. Rocks, branches, and then there's a particular food dish that I think is unique that we haven't seen yet that we can also get. And I usually will save the flowers and hope that I can make it into perfume if I get enough of them. But that also allows you to have some more options for gift giving or selling or whatever it is that you want to do. I almost didn't look at the time and almost completely forgot to bring my animals indoors. Now that I've cleared out my inventory, I'm going to go over to the windmill and grab some things and make more seeds and just keep that going. I don't think we've seen this on screen yet, but every once in a while when you make a bunch of items, Isaac will just randomly show up to congratulate you on using the windmills. And then he'll also sort of inspect the windmills just to make sure that you're not wearing it out too quickly. But don't worry, he never ever ever says that the windmill needs to be repaired or he has to shut it down or anything like that. You will get this event multiple times if you use your windmills often. It's kind of irritating just because it happens quite a bit and it's the same event and the same dialogue every single time. And you can keep track of your windmiller level in your assets menu as well. So I'll go ahead and just throw some more things into the windmill here. And normally I would spend the rest of my time going fishing. Maybe I would throw myself in the river a little bit more and burn up the remainder of my stamina. But I think I still have a little bit of time left in this video. And if I go to sleep, I should be getting an item from Felix in the morning. And we can sort of briefly talk about that. But that is the extent of my sort of tutorial, so to speak, about winter. It's very simple, and you just kind of have to make the most of it. There are still activities that you can do, but it does sometimes feel a little bit lacking without being able to grow crops, but you just have to get creative. You've got your windmills at your disposal, you've got some animals, a few things that you can forage, you can make some jewelry if you're lucky, and you always will have fishing to fall back on as well. So let's go ahead and jump into bed here. And normally, just my luck, it's a blizzard today. Normally, on the second day of wintertime, Felix would come and give you a gift. And I guess that's just something I'm gonna have to save for another video. I was absolutely not expecting a storm to start whipping up, but a winter storm is just like a summer storm. You have absolutely nothing to fear. You don't have to worry about anything. It's not going to wipe out your trees or any seeds that you have lying dormant. And this would be an absolutely fantastic day to do some fishing. This would be absolutely optimal. This is the time to make stuff in your windmill. And if you happen to have some gifts, this is also a wonderful time to do some socializing. And if you're lucky, hopefully the game will also blow in more items. I do find that there seems to be a really big uptick in randomized forageable items during a storm, which seems to be the case here. Lots of ore that we're seeing, lots and lots of snowballs, lots of shiny things, so this is actually kind of nice. It's actually kind of nice to have a storm because I think it just gives us more items, more random items, which is sort of nice, especially if it's going to be shiny stuff and ore stones that we can kind of stockpile. And it would make for a wonderful fishing day as well. A little bit harder to move around with the wind blowing at us, but that's definitely not that big of a deal. Lots and lots and lots of snowballs. I usually choose to stockpile mine, and you can always save the game, wake up in the morning, throw your snowballs, and if you don't like the result, just reload and try again, because it is completely randomized. It's totally possible to waste all of your snowballs and to get absolutely nothing, but if you time it right and you reload, you might be able to get some better stuff. So I'm actually kind of hoping for a few days with blizzards, not gonna lie, that would be kind of cool. My lack of storage is actually kind of killing me right now. I've got to figure out some inventory management here. I'll probably put a couple of things into storage so that I can go back and pick up those items that I left behind. I definitely want to go back for the shiny stuff. I want to be able to get some coins. So I'm going to play my nice blizzard a day and hopefully go and get some stuff done and make some money and catch some fish if I'm able to fit it all into my inventory. So hopefully Felix will show up tomorrow. I'm gonna guess that's the case. He'll just show up on the next nice day that we have. And we will also be getting our special guest to show up on the 4th of winter, just before our bazaar. So I think those two things will probably make for its own video before we move on to the bazaar. So I'm going to return sooner than later. We get to see what Felix's surprise gift is going to be. And we're also going to be able to say hi to a new visitor, a new villager, which is very, very exciting. So it's kind of a neat way to start off the season, and I'm just kind of excited, actually. I think it's going to be a nice, relaxed, chill, kind of laid-back vibe. It's a little bit of a nice break before we get back into being busy with our farm. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.